I just want to say that I heard Kenny talking about, selling this place out this weekend. There's no reason why we shouldn't sell this place out. Are you kidding me? With what he's done with this program, how quickly. I mean, we've all been itching for a winner. Well, here you go. It's on a platter. There's no reason we shouldn't sell this place out and be rocking this weekend. Um, this team deserves it. The staff deserves it. We as myself as a fan, and I think all the fans out there. This is what we want here in Tempe. So come out and support the boys this weekend. It should be a lot of fun. So plus we have recruits in this weekend, and it helps us too. But back to the signing class, I think, yeah, we're happy with where we're at. We were able to pile up a couple arms late, and that was before the rankings came out. So I think we're even better than that. Well, I don't know what they say, 18 or whatever. 18 rankings are rankings, but we were able to get a couple nice arms here late as well, and add those to this class. So a nice mix. A lot of arms we continue to build with, and then a couple of decent position players that we've mixed in there as well.
Just speaking about Kenny and what he's been able to do with this football program, how kind of, inspirational or motivating is that for you as an alum as well to try and, replicate that success on the diamond?
Well, that's why we're all doing this, right? And that's why the alums a lot of alums have come back and are now coaching here at ASU. What he's done has been magnificent. What volleyball is doing is magnificent. What basketball is starting off, doing great. So this whole athletic program has just been kind of given a new boost of energy, I guess, and going in the right way. And Kenny's leading the charge with that. So again, as a fan and of football, and love what he's doing, and it's just invigorated through the entire athletic department. So pumped for him. And yeah, we hope to carry the momentum over into what we're doing as well.
Willie, you guys kind of got the unique opportunity to face USA baseball. How did that come about, and how do the guys feel playing against their country? Must have been kind of weird.
That was awesome. A good experience for our guys. We had. I'm actually on the board of directors at USA Baseball, so was able to those guys were coming in town, and I said, threw out the idea, why don't we kind of give them a tune-up game and play against us before they go down to Mexico and play down there. Great idea. They've done it in the past before here, and I thought it lined up perfect when our fall was going on. I told Mike Sosha, I said, you guys are going to see some pretty good arms, and I think he kind of thought I was halfway kidding, and then 15 punch outs later, we should have beat him. But we did pretty well against them. Obviously, we would have liked to come up with a W. We had a 3-1 lead going into the eighth, but we took a page out of the Yankees book on the PFP stuff. Sorry, Yankee fans, but is what it is. And but couldn't come up with a W. But it was a great experience for our guys. Playing against arguably the best minor league guys out there. We got a chance to face some really good arms. We were swinging wood bats, so that was cool for our guys. But great experience, and let us know that we got a chance to play with anybody.
And then you mentioned the strikeouts. Ben Jacobs and Jack Martinez both look pretty nasty in that game. Are those potentially your Friday, Saturday guys? I know it's early, but how do you see that lining up?
I think still a little too early to tell. Obviously I wouldn't want to announce that too early, but for all indications, Benny's done everything he needs to do this fall. We've actually shut him down for the remainder of the fall because he doesn't need to show anymore, so we can start ramping him up on a little bit on the earlier side for the season, so we can hopefully get, that pitch count up for opening day. Jack has done a nice job, has a few things to clean up, and he'll correct you. It's actually Martinez instead of Martinez. It's spelled the same, but I just want to make sure because Jack will correct you on that down the road. But he's done a nice job, and for the first time in my 4 years here, we have good problems on the mound. So there'll be a dogfight for those weekend spots and ultimately roles. So we're still working through those because it's been a very competitive fall.
Max, Ryan, Chris, Mike.
Hey, Willie, Max Pitt, Arizona's family. Good to see you again. What necessarily so far in fall ball have you seen just from the staff as a whole, and how confident are you that the signings that you've added to the arms, considering everything that happened last year, how do you feel like that the rotation and the bullpen as a whole is looking like it's shaping up, and what are you looking for, at least in the Maroon and Gold World Series this week, to see at least that timing and to see them at least continue to grow at least before the winter?
Yeah, I think the last couple of years, we were looking at trying to fill out our roster, going, who can we keep to give us a shot? And this year we're going, okay, we got some tough decisions. We had a lot of arms that we would have killed to have had, 2 or 3 years ago, that we're, they're fighting to try and make a team right now. So there's a big difference on, where we were and where we've come to. I think there's a lot of, low to mid 90 mile an hour arms that we have they're not that it's about velocity, but that have good off speed stuff that know how to pitch. So I think what you take a look at the job that Sam Peraza and the rest of the staff has done building and getting these guys here. And now what Jeremy Accardo's doing with them and taking them to the next level is just, our pitching staff is, and I believe, in a pretty good spot moving forward and continuing to improve. We're obviously, you win with pitching and defense in the long haul. So we're continuing to add to what we currently have, for the next signing class and beyond. We're continuing to go after pitching first, and we'll always score runs at ASU. So we're not worried about that. We just got to be able to stop some people. So, but again, as far as how roles are shaping up, we have a lot of good power arms that are bullpen guys, and we're still competing for some starting jobs too. So a nice mix of guys.
And then speaking of stopping people, looking at the non-conference schedule that was released about a few weeks ago, you're playing Ohio State again to begin the season. This time on opening weekend, you play them obviously in non-conference last year, but keeping up the relationships with UCLA and USC, keeping those rivalries alive, but also still playing Power 4 programs like Minnesota and also like UNLV, a team that you guys came back and won against in Las Vegas last year. How big is that to have the strong enough non-conference schedule before going into a conference that you guys just haven't had the experience with so far?
Well, I think all that factors into it. We're in today's RPI world that's imperfect, way to determine, I guess, how good you are. You're kind of chasing that and seeing which teams are going to be good, and you're hoping to play against good, solid teams. We've done everything we can to make sure we're playing a good non-conference schedule as well. Ohio State gave us a run for our money last year and split with us here at home. Austin Peay is coming in and playing on that Monday. Those guys hit a team batting average of 370 or something last year, which they can swing it. Gonzaga historically has been outstanding. Last year they were down a little bit, but they got such a good coaching staff. I don't imagine they'll be down for too long. Oral Roberts was in Omaha 2 years ago, so they're going to be a good test. And then Minnesota obviously is a solid team and solid program as well. And like I said, I think it's very important to keep the rivalry going with UCLA and USC, those Southern Cal schools. We're going to try to keep scheduling those guys, home and home if we can every other year, just to keep that going. That's important. So schedule's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy, but I don't want it to be easy.
Hey, Chris, and then Jeff.
Hey, Coach, Jake Sloan, Devil's Digest. How have you seen the new recruits and the transfers now, a couple weeks into fall ball, kind of mesh with the players both on the field and the returners in the locker room?
They've been outstanding. We have some good personalities and kids that are older guys that have come in. Matt King, I think of it, has come in and done a great job in the middle infield. Manny Garza is a clubhouse favorite. Guys love him, and has been outstanding. Kyle Walker's been great. Jack Martinez has done a very nice job as well. Derek Schaefer, one of our local kids that came back home out of the portal, has done phenomenal. So, the new guys we brought in, and again, those are target kids that we certainly, the talent is nice, but it's also the type of kid that's going to fit in with our culture and what we're trying to do and what we're trying to build. So. Good, tough kids that love to play baseball. So those are the type of guys I like.
Willie, with the coming scholarship changes, 11.7 to 34 or whatever it is, what has been said to you about how that will work at ASU, and how much will that impact roster retention, roster building?
No, it's a good question. I think it's one that's kind of looming over everybody's head on getting some clarity as to what direction ultimately we're going with the looming 34 roster. When is that 34 going to be? Is it going to be in the fall? Is it going to be in the spring? Those are things that kind of keep me up at night, trying to wonder which way we're going here. Because that changes drastically the route we're going to go on things. But until we get full announcement and full clarity on that, we're kind of speculating on stuff. So we're going forward, with the intention of what we set out with, and until we get ultimate clarity on things, which I think we're still, most schools and other coaches that I've talked to, everyone's still kind of waiting to figure out what's going on before we make ultimate decisions. But tentatively starting to gear up for these things. But until we ultimately get final when that 34-man roster is going to be, it's tough to make decisions based on speculation. And until we get clarity on it, it's tough.
What are you hoping to happen?
I mean, I'm not in agreement of the bringing 75 kids in the fall and cutting it down to 34, which some other schools do. We choose not to go that route, but it's a big transition to go from 40 all the way down to 34. I think especially in the fall. I don't mind it so much in the spring, but we have to inter-squad. We have to play against each other. Baseball is a sport where you have to get repetitions against each other and see live pitching. And if you don't have enough guys on a roster to inter-squad, then how do you get those at bats? How do you get those live game situations? So, and furthermore, I was just counting it up in my head. We got probably 6 or 7 guys that are kind of dinged up right now with, I don't want to say freak injuries, but broken thumb. We got a concussion on a backswing of a bat. Like, things happen. So if you have 3 or 4 guys out on a 34-man roster, you get awful thin real fast. So I wouldn't mind seeing a number in the fall, and then obviously shaving it down to 34 in the spring type thing would be the ideal for me. Whether or not we do that, we'll see. But regardless of what the rules are that are thrown at me, we'll deal with it and we'll move forward. I mean, I've already dealt with some pretty big ones the first couple of years here. So what's another one at this point?
Yeah, and Sean and Mike.
Coach, can you go over a little bit some of the individuals in the recruiting class and talk about their highlights?
Sure. I think some of and I apologize, I won't get to everybody, but some of the big arms that we like, Marcelo Rodriguez, a kid from Doral down in Florida, is a nice arm that we've gotten. Austin Musso is a kid we just committed recently, along with Jack Butterworth. Those 2 kids are big right-handed arms that are running up there in the low to mid 90s. So they're going to be fun kids to keep an eye on. Assuming they get to campus. And then, Brennan Lewis is as a 2-way guy. He's in the middle of football playoffs right now. He and Trey Bryant is a kid from down south that his dad was a kicker for the Falcons. So he was in town last weekend, and Trey's in the middle of football playoffs too. So we got a couple of tough mentality kids, which I like, that have flexibility to do some things. Brennan's is a pitcher as well, so he is kind of a shortstop, right-handed pitcher that can do things. I think, kind of back to your roster question, that is going to be an emphasis in getting guys that can do multiple things and having that flexibility. So if you can get a position player that also pitches, I think just kind of having that extra arm helps out quite a bit. Vaughn Coleman is a kid that is capable of doing that as well, out of Southern California. Several other guys. We got a couple local kids too. Cooper Klauser is a nice left-handed bat that can really hit, that we're excited about. And should be a fun class. Tommy Brown's a nice catcher that we were able to pull. So we're in good shape.
Sean and Michael. Yeah, Jordan.
Hey, Coach. Josiah Cromwick has had a pretty good fall. I think the number was 7 home runs.
It's been a ridiculous fall. Yes.
Obviously, the loss of Campos behind the dish is big, but I'm wondering, how have you kind of seen Josiah develop and learn from Campos? And do you think that, it's safe to say he's the leading candidate to start behind the dish opening day?
We have it's another position that we have good problems. Josiah I think he hit his 10th homer of the fall the other day. He's just been on an absolute tear. It's crazy. We've only played 15 fall games. He's got 10 bombs. So they aren't soft ones. They aren't muni homers. They're loud. But he's done an outstanding job offensively. Defensively, he continues to progress with his receiving. He had a little bit of an arm issue here recently, so we haven't caught him a whole lot. He's just kind of been DHing and mixing in there. But he's done a great job from the offensive standpoint. Brody Briggs has done a great job behind the plate defensively. His bat's starting to come around. Manny Garza, again, clubhouse favorite. He's done a great job, switch hitter. He got a concussion in the Grand Canyon game on a backswing. Bat hit him in the back of the head. So he's been down for a couple weeks, but up until that point, I mean, that's a real dogfight behind the dish on who's going to get the opening day nod. So nothing there has been determined yet.
And then you guys have a very solid outfield core in Kian Vu, Brendan Compton, and Isaiah Jackson. But what have you kind of seen from that group holistically so far this fall?
Jonathan Hernandez, another outfielder that we picked up from Central Arizona, who's pushing guys and having an outstanding fall. I think he's got 8 home runs this fall as well. So that core unit is, obviously very talented. I'm really excited about the progress Isaiah has made from an offensive standpoint and continuing to get more consistent. Kian Vu and Compton, those 2 guys, you saw what they did last year. We look forward to them to continue to build and progress. Brandon's getting better from the defensive side of the ball in left field and has made some nice strides. And then obviously Kian. He's doing his thing. He's very athletic and talented young man. So, when you look at that lineup starting to stretch out again, 1 through 9, that can put the ball in the seats, and we can do some other things too with run, hit and run, steal. It becomes hopefully a fun lineup to manage.
Coach, you mentioned obviously what the overall program's doing. I mean, volleyball, football being here, and basketball the way it started, even soccer their season. But recruiting-wise, how much does – obviously they want to come here and play baseball, but when you're bringing in recruits, when the program's having that much success, how much does it help in recruiting, and how much juice does you feel it gives your team?
I think it's huge as far as the overall – I recruit upon – a couple things. Obviously, the academics first, the weight room, the player development are kind of the 3 staples that we stand for. But the college experience is a big part of that. So when you come here and you see a sold out crowd, or you see a fun atmosphere at a football game, I can't tell how many kids that we bring on the sidelines and they watch the intro video and they just get chills and goosebumps like, dude, that is badass. It's like, yeah, this place is pretty cool, man. This is a fun place to go to school. And I can attest to it because I went here and I know how much fun it is, sometimes too much fun. But it is a great place to go to school. The academic side of things has really done a 180 since when I was here, respectfully. I mean, it was, they'd let anybody in here and anybody would get out too. Right now, we still let a lot of people here, but it's tougher to get through it because our academic standards have gone through the roof. So people that want to get a great education along with the atmosphere of Arizona State, it's, there's no better place to go. So when you start comparing apples to apples with other programs around the country and other campuses and the nightlife and the fun that the football team, energy that's bringing around this place, we're having very good success in the recruiting world and strategically bring those kids in on the weekends like this. So I'll also echo that with hockey too, with Greg Powers, what he's done over there. Kids, especially from Minnesota, that come down that are good arms, they come down, they're kind of more hockey fans than football. We'll bring them over to the hockey game and like, wow, this is an electric environment. So I think just the whole shot of energy that we have as an athletic department with all our sports going on right now. Again, we took a couple of recruits to volleyball against Kansas State last week, and they loved it. So momentum is great right now at Arizona State. It's a great time to be a Sun Devil.
Hey, Willie, Jordan Ham, Sports 360 AZ. How has finishing the pitching lab and Coach Accardo being able to utilize what he's so good at helped impact the pitching staff?
First of all, yes, that's a huge thing to the donors and people that have stepped up and helped us finish that lab once and for all. Thank you. It goes a long way, not only with recruiting, but actually just developing our guys and getting them better and helping them understand pitching better. And I think having a guy like Jeremy that is privy to all that new information and technology has just been huge, for our guys. I think you'll see guys that have taken a giant step forward, not only because they've another year under their belt, but also just learning what makes them successful as a pitcher and being able to tweak the repertoire a little bit and understanding why it is and what pitches we throw in certain situations and why. it's been big. So I think that's it's huge. It's also big in recruiting. I still believe number one, you got to have the mindset to be a good pitcher, but in today's world, these kids want to see the why, the how. Why is my pitches doing this, and why am I having success, or why am I not having success? You can. I don't want to say that's the end all be all, but you can help show them why based upon the analytics side of things, which is good. So I never thought I would sit here and preach analytics, and that's still not my number one. I still believe in mentality over analytics, but there is a big spot for it, especially in that pitching space, and it's been very good for us.
Coach, you guys led off Kyle Walker against both GCU and USA Baseball. Coming in from Grambling State, what does he bring to a middle infield room that is kind of still developing a little bit?
A lot of energy, the passion to play. I love his body language and his energy when he takes the field. He is an aggressive swinger. He likes to swing the bat, which is great. Kind of cut out of my cloth. I like when guys are in the box ready to go. He brings just an ultimate love for the game and passion for the game and energy, and it's infectious throughout the lineup, throughout the clubhouse. He's been a great addition for us.
Coach, we know Graham Rossini has his roots in baseball, and he's been very concerned with upgrading the fan experience at Muni. Can you talk a little bit about the upgrade in the facilities and what fans can expect to see? I realize it's a couple months out at least, but is there anything we can update fans on at this point?
We're getting new lights, so that's good, because we had a hard time seeing the baseball, at night games. So, but we're getting brand new LED lights, which will be fun. And I think it'll be a brighter environment for not only for our players but for the fans as well. And then obviously with us being streamed on ESPN, most of the year, I think that's going to be a big thing for us, getting exposure throughout the country. There's a new sound system going in, which I know I've got several emails on that complaints front in the past. So those are a couple things that are coming down the pipe. I think moving forward, I've heard rumblings of new scoreboards and hopefully outfield experience, which, let's win some games this year and then we can talk about that further. But I would love to do something with that left field area at some point in time. But I think initially this is good steps on moving forward, and we've done a great job inside the locker room with honoring some past teams on every team that's been to Omaha. Recognizing all those teams that have been to Omaha and how special that is. And then we have a draft wall as well with all of our still number one in the history of college baseball and draft picks. Having all those names across our wall, I think, is important when recruits come in and see that we're still king when it comes to getting our guys opportunities at the next level.
You've already worked closely with Graham Rossini, but what do you have to say just about the job he's been able to do the last 6 months now that he's leading the athletic department?
I think proof's in the pudding, with everything you're seeing and the energy that's going on around all of our athletic teams right now. Graham's a smart individual, and I think he knew the job that he was about to embark on, that it was not going to be easy. Not going to be able to come up for air for a while, but we have a lot of work to do in this environment. It's a challenging environment for not only him, but for all the coaches. This is crazy, man. All the different things that are getting thrown at us every year, but that's the man that can handle it. I've known him for a long time. I know that he's a thinker. He thinks things through. He just kind of puts one good decision and piles them on one after another. And thinks things through very well. But I think what he's done already in a short amount of time has been phenomenal. Work isn't done, and he knows that, and we all know that. But in today's challenging environment, he knows what he's up against and what he has to do. And I think throughout the community as a whole, you're hearing great things about him and that they actually feel a part of Arizona State sports. And to me, that's it's going a long way. So from my perspective, doing a great job.
when you came to ASU was coming off its Rose Bowl bid, just coming into your freshman year in 1997, the 1996 year, the year before the Rose Bowl berth. So thinking about just the passion level around the athletic department right now in terms of success across the board, where does that kind of like feel from you from an emotional standpoint of where the passion is around Arizona State University?
Well, I think my freshman year was the Rose Bowl year. I think that was I think we stormed the field 3 times that year, if I remember right, against Nebraska, against SC, and against Cal, I believe, when we clinched the Pac-12 at that time. This fan base was rocking at that point in time, and I sensed that it's starting to get back to there. With the excitement that again, Kenny and the staff is bringing to the university, and just all the things that are going on around town that people are talking about. It's exciting. This should be a destination place for every high school kid that's a decent athlete should want to come here. I mean, it has so many things to offer with the weather and the academics and obviously what our sports programs are doing now. It's a fun time to be a Sun Devil. It's a great place. So hopefully we can continue building on the momentum in all of our sports and ride this wave and get Arizona State athletic program back to where it should be and where we all want it. So that's the goal, that's the plan, and I think we're in that direction for sure. Last thing I would say, we got Maroon and Gold starting this week. Kind of wanted to give a shout out to that. We had a big draft last night, and this is the time of year where it's fun for me as a coach to kind of let the boys do what they do. They had their draft last night, and they selected their own teams. This is when I allow chirping to go on, from team to team, and the gloves come off, and they get to go at each other. This should be a fun week. Free admission for anyone who wants to come out to Muni. We're playing on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. We're not playing Saturday because we're all coming to the football game, Sunday and Monday, right? So I think I'm sorry. No, it'll be a 2:30 start on Tuesday. Wednesday will be a 6:30 start. And then Friday, stay tuned. I think it's a 1:30 start on Friday, but we'll announce that on social media. 2:30, 6:30, and 1:30 we have right now, and then TBD on Sunday and Monday. Again, we're taking Saturday off to be here at the football game because Kenny and the boys deserve it, and they need our support. So if we're doing that, you guys should too.